All right, today I'm going to show you a sciatic nerve flosser variation. I don't think I went over this in the video that we did a long time ago where we were laying down, but typically a lot of people will come in with sciatic nerve issues. Again, this video is not to diagnose that. You need to talk to me or somebody in person to kind of get that settled, diagnosing those things. But this is something that I highly recommend when we have nerve tension. So there's a test that we would do and see if there's nerve tension, and then we would give this basically a neurodynamic technique to kind of floss the nerve back and forth. It's actually a David Butler neurodynamic technique. There's a ton of techniques out there, but that's the one I'm going to show you. So seated, basically, let's say my left leg is the issue. So if that's piriformis, hamstring, if it's nerve root in the back, something like that after a disc, if it's calf, if it's any of these kind of sciatic nerve branches all the way down into the foot, especially if you get numbness down to the foot, things like that, we'll give this. And a lot of times people tell me that they don't have time to do their exercises, or, you know, hey, I did them like once this week, and so no excuses. This is a variation you can do sitting anywhere except for when you're driving. Please don't do it when you're driving. So basically we're going to kick our chin and then drop back down. I typically like to hold onto my leg because when I lay on my back, I'm going to be holding onto my leg, or I'm usually doing this on a stool or something. I don't want this maybe actively activated, right? So hold here, kick, look up, and then if you're scooted out a little bit, you can lean back a little bit. I'm not going to worry about that, but you're going to kick, look up, and then down and look down and slump forward. So really, I just always talk about your chin and your foot being connected. And usually I'll tell people floss after you eat because it's kind of funny. And you remember to do it 3 times a day at least, a set of 10 to 20. And again, after about 10 or 12 of these, it should start feeling a little bit looser. What we found is a lot of people that come in with back pain, they come in and they say, you know, I've got back pain, and when I have back pain, my hamstrings are really tight, so I stretch them. Well, they stretch them, they feel better for a couple hours, and then they're like, I gotta keep stretching all day long. Well, guess what? It's not your hamstring, it's your sciatic nerve. So the hamstring is protecting the nerve from pulling apart and ripping in half in kind of a most extreme kind of phase. But again, it's not the hamstring. So typically, we will say stop flexing or stop stretching your hamstring. We'll give it, chill, make it chill a little bit, and then we'll floss. So the only way I'm okay with stretching that would be this movement. And in reality, we're not actually even stretching the hamstring. We're elongating the hamstring, but we're pulling that nerve that way. And when we pull the toe back, it's even pulling harder on that nerve. And then when we look down, that would be not right, because then it's pulling from both directions. So if I do that, I always want to look up, and it's releasing tension on the nerve this way. And then when I release tension on the nerve that way, I'm looking down. So a lot more detail than you probably wanted, but seated sciatic nerve flosser.